Okay, this is the September 19th, 2012 Carver Conservation Commission meeting. The chairman is not able to be here tonight, so are we looking for a motion to appoint a temporary chairman?
I move we appoint you as chair for the evening.
Is there a second?
I'll second it. I'll second. You've taken it.
All those in
Mr.
favor?
Excuse me, Mr. Eldridge as chair.
Second by
Judy Ward.
Judy. All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Recused? I guess that was passed. The first order of business we will go to is the indemnity and the minutes of December 21st, 2011. If you want to address the board.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. We had a request for these minutes, and we noticed in looking at the DVD of that particular meeting that there was an important thing that had been left out, and that was actually that Peg Blackwell, who at the time was on the commission, actually recused herself when it came to a vote for the budget. So if you would let me, I wanted to just play probably less than a minute of this DVD. The sound is pretty low, but I do think you will hear her.
The only question that I have is if I hear that, am I able to vote on this issue? Because at that meeting, I was not present, so I don't know if we, based on that, do we have a quorum? That's my only concern. So we have,
That's a good point.
and I'm not sure. I
Yeah,
just
you know what?
looked
You
at the
don't.
meeting. So I'm
Yeah,
not,
you don't.
so I don't know.
Okay, so,
I'd like to hear the recording anyway.
yeah, and what we can do is, we can submit them, you know, as being not approved yet, but amended. And then you guys can approve it if you think it's approvable at the next meeting, if you want.
So we would make a motion for the amended part, or is it through a motion, or would it just be?
You would make a motion to put the amended minutes of that meeting on the next agenda.
Okay.
Yep.
That's fine.
So, here goes.
I'll make a motion to approve it.
This is just before
All in favor of approving the minutes as read, say aye. Aye. Opposed? And 2 abstentions. 302. Last thing, discussion on budget.
I think you all have a copy. Okay, that's pretty much it. The Peg's chair is empty there. I don't know if you could actually hear her say that, but I. Oh, good, okay.
So, based on that recording, I would ask that we make a motion. Is it to add this amendment to those meetings? Is that the motion we're looking for now?
To those minutes, correct. To submit those minutes as amended, but you'd have to do it at your next meeting. So the motion would be to put that on the agenda for the next meeting.
I make a motion to put the amended minutes to the next meeting.
So move.
I'll second it.
And all those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? And I think I have to recuse. Is that correct? Or I can vote on that one?
You can abstain,
Abstain.
since you weren't there.
All right. We can move to, there are no bills listed in the order of business, or there is?
We do, we just didn't have the total, because we were waiting for one more bill to come in, we wanted to get paid.
Okay, so do we have a total that?
We do, with all receipts attached.
Okay. Total bills being $376.35. Does somebody wanna make a motion to approve the bills, to pay the bills in the amount of $376.35?
I move we pay the bills of $376.35.
Is there a second?
I'll second it.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, recused? You can sign it, I'll go back this way. Since we still have 5 minutes until the hearing, we can go to the minutes, the minutes to be read. I think the first one we have is, we can go to the December, no, that's not
July
December.
18 would be it.
July 18 is the first one, so we can look over those minutes.
On the one minutes we just did here, to amend the December, to vote on that, to put it into the next meeting.
No, because you weren't there at all.
So I
Two
should
abstention,
Two
two yes,
abstentions.
0 no, 2 abstain.
So it would be 202.
Equals your 4.
Oh, no, yeah, that's right, 202, yeah.
Yeah, when you get done.
Got it, okay.
Anybody have any questions or concerns of these minutes?
I have just a couple of minor corrections, if I may.
Okay.
On page 1, under Mr. Silva's appointment, where it says will file NOI,
Okay,
I think just to be a little clear as to why he has to file, it should say because bog construction is new bog construction and within 100 feet of BBWs.
Did you say page 1 or 2?
Page 1 of July 18th, right towards the top, under appointments. It says
Okay.
will file notice of intent.
because New Bog is within, how many?
Well, first of all, it's because it's new bog construction, and second, because it's within 100 feet of BBWs.
Anybody else?
The only other thing is on page 3, under the public hearing for 40 South Main Street. It's the second paragraph on page 3. Third line up from the bottom, it says, "We propose to take that out, and we can grade it." I think it should say "they." Just to be clear that it's the applicant proposing that and not you guys. But that's up to you.
That's all right, I missed that.
There's a gentle slope right there, and they,
Right, yeah, and right above that as well. We propose to take that out, we can grade it. And then the very last thing is on page 4, where we're talking about the emergency certification for number 2 Montello Street, at the top of page 4.
Okay.
At the very, at the very last sentence of that part, it says, it will allow, the emergency certification will allow work on the current well and also allow hookup to town water line. I think you should add why, what they're doing, so within all within 100 feet of wetland resource areas, prior to filing a notice of intent. Because the way it's written, it just sounds like all he had to do was do the emergency certification, but, I would just say that, you know, somehow, in your own words, this is your minute, so somehow just add that the reason he's doing this is because it's within 100 feet of resource areas, and he's gonna file a notice of intent. Yeah, that was it.
Is that the only change? Does anybody else see any changes? Does anybody want to make a motion to approve the July 18, 2012 meetings with, as amended?
I'll make a motion to approve the July 18th minutes as amended.
Anybody second?
Second?
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstain? Okay, it is 7:14, so I guess we can just wait and read it now? Or should I do these August 1st meetings first and then go to that?
Well, I think it's better to be a little late than early.
Okay, so why don't we do the August 1st minutes so that we can get these done?
Do you know what? I don't have August 1st.
Everybody got August 1? If not, I have extras.
I guess the question I have there too is, do we have the quorum to approve these as well? Because I was absent on August 1st. I don't know if we have
1,
a
2,
3-0
3.
vote, we'll approve them.
Russ, Jen,
So, there are 4 of you here,
got 3 out of
and only 3 of you were there, but you would abstain.
I would abstain.
So that's still a quorum of
Okay,
a quorum.
that's fine, I'm
Yep.
just
Mhm.
making sure, that's all. Does anybody have any questions on the August 1st, 2012 meeting minutes?
One thing. I just have one thing down at the bottom of the page where it says, legal ad that was run in newspaper was incorrect, therefore no hearing may be held. That's technically correct, but I think it's important to use the word opened, because you guys couldn't open the public hearing. And that's why there was no subsequent discussion.
No open hearing, is that how you want it?
Therefore, no hearing may be opened. Or you probably should put no public, the public hearing
Yeah.
cannot be opened, or something like that.
Okay. Do you have that correction yet?
No.
You comfortable with that? Okay. There any other comments, concerns, corrections? Somebody wanna make a motion to approve the April 1st, 2012 minutes as amended?
I'll make a motion to approve the August 1st meeting as amended, minutes as amended.
Second?
Second?
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstain? One.
One abstain.
All right, we'll open up the first new hearing. Notice is hereby given in accordance with the Massachusetts Wetland Protection Act, MGL Chapter 131, Section 40, and the Carver Wetlands Protection Bylaw, that a public hearing will be held at 7:15 PM on September 19th, 2012, in the meeting room at the Carver Town Hall. All to hear the notice of intent of the Advanced Group Carver LLC to install a water line into an existing building with related site work within 100 feet of the bordering vegetated wetlands. The project also includes repairing an existing well within the bordering vegetated wetland. The project may require a variance from the Carver Wetlands Protection Bylaw. The project is located at 2 Montello Street, Carver, Mass., map 22, lots 5B, 5D, and 5E. All interested parties are invited to attend. So this is the hearing for 2 Montello Street. You could just introduce yourself and to explain your project.
That pulls out. It's easier to use.
Evening, Joe Webby Engineering, and with me is Alex Rich. And Alex is the new owner of the White Silo Marketplace. And right after he purchased it, they had a problem with the well, and they had all the intentions of tying into town water anyways, but that just precipitated it to an emergency situation, so they begged permission from both the Board of Health and the Commission to install a water line, and then with the understanding that they would come before you and get a permit. Right now, the existing water gate was here. They ran a water line right along the edge of Montello Street to here. And then what they did was they went inside the building and discovered there was an empty conduit here, and then found it the other end of it, and so they did not have to dig between here and here. They were able to use that conduit and get the water line into their mechanical room right there.
So the disturbance within the resource area is to the right along Montello Street, correct?
That's correct. It was from here to here.
That would be where,
Yeah, and except for just one little stretch right in there too.
Sure.
And that, all that pavement has been patched, and it was all in the existing parking lot.
It was already disturbed, basically. Mr. Chair, I'm going to just pass around some pictures. I was up there today, or yesterday, actually, looking at it, and if that's kind of from the beginning all the way to the end, and I didn't make copies because it seemed kind of wasteful. Oh.
Sarah, is this gonna be a project that the commission's gonna have to site work, or do you feel comfortable with?
Well, a number of the commissioners have seen it before he did the work.
Okay,
I wasn't able to get anyone to go look at it after the work, but that's why I took the pictures. There was minimal I mean, and that's up to you guys. If you guys want to ask the applicant if he can continue and actually look at it. But the pavement is the last couple of pictures, and that, as we all know, is already disturbed. They've already repaved over it. The area where they entered, the wetland is right up against the back pavement behind the whole building. And it's just the way they used to do things. And so he took, I guess, a bobcat?
Yeah.
You want to, wait, Alex, speak into will you pick the mic up and kind of tell us what you did?
I have a smaller size, just a 30-horse, basically a farm tractor Kubota.
okay.
With my son, just to get through. Some of it was very thick, and I had my son cutting and lopping everything as best we could. We did it, as minimally intrusive as possible.
Yeah.
Did everything we could by hand. It actually, for a bad situation, that was one of the easier parts. Actually, that was the easiest part, getting to the wells, once the water drained down.
Yeah.
But it was the original path. Dennis Capolis from LW Sawyer Well, who originally put the wells in with his father back in 85, 86, had said he remembered that. He hasn't been back there in years, but he said it had grown in substantially. The wells haven't had the chance to be contaminated, where they had to be rechlorinated or anything. So, but since he's been back there, that brush had grown in a lot. So that was the reason for having to access them, to chlorinate them, to get them, get them to pass the test for drinking water.
Okay.
So
as far as the area that's gonna be subject to anything, the work's done then?
The work, and that was the goal, because he has to supply drinking water to the
To
tenants
the tenants,
in
and I
that building,
understand
yeah.
that, so the exception to go forward is
Yeah.
almost on an emergency
Yeah.
basis.
Exactly.
So I guess procedural-wise, I would ask the agent, do we close this meeting and then, because this is on a notice of intent, so do we close this meeting, make a vote to close the meeting, and then,
Well, first you should probably find out if there's anyone in the audience who, because it's a public hearing, has comments or questions or whatever. And if they don't, then you would vote to, unless anyone actually wants to walk the site since the work has been done. Or, I mean, if you're satisfied with the pictures, I agree, it was pretty minimally invasive. So if you don't feel the necessity of walking, then you would close it and then go forward from there for an order of conditions. The only thing that, looking from it, and you may not feel that it's all that important, are the kind of ruts that are visible in one of the pictures. The area will probably revegetate itself, but I didn't know if you wanted any of that raked over, because that was the word you used.
I absolutely can, hand rake it over. That's not a problem. Just a little bit of rut. It was muddy as heck back there because it had been, a flooded area for who knows how long. And
Were those planks there originally? Or did you guys put them there?
they're still there. Yeah, I put them there.
Oh, okay,
Put 'em
yeah.
there.
Yeah. you
I'll
might-
remove those. I forgot all about
yeah,
those.
just makes easy access for,
Anybody to get to the wells, yeah, which I don't want. Yeah, absolutely.
Let's see.
so, but, that's your call. And the brush that he removed is sort of out in front of the whole area in a nice pile.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, it's not all over. It's actually pretty neatly done. I thought.
We tried our best. We did our best.
I don't, being in the location, I mean, it seems pretty flat. There doesn't seem to be a lot of runoff. I don't know how much more disturbance you would get by going out there and raking it out. Some of it already looks like some of the greenage is already coming in and regerminating already. So I don't know if going out there and disturbing it again a second time just to smooth it out
Yeah.
in that area would even seem necessary.
Right.
It could disturb it even further.
Yeah.
So I guess what I would ask, is there anybody in the audience in regards to 2 Montello Street that wants to be heard? There being none. Does anybody want to make a motion? Does any of the commissioners have any questions in regards to this project?
I just have one. Is there any further work
No,
to be
that's it.
done?
That's it. And the only reason I would need to access the wells again would be in an emergency basis, which I have reclassified them with DEP as emergency backup. So if something happened to the water in town or my line, something, you know, the water line on site, anything, I could access or the wells would be able to be, you know, tested and, you know, come back online if need be. I just didn't want to abandon them out there because wells are valuable, so.
Now, when you say test them, there's vehicles and stuff don't have to go up there for that.
Right inside the building.
So
They're all still, they're capped.
Yeah.
But the supply lines and the recirculating lines are still connected inside, not connected, that's a bad word. They are into the mechanical room, but they're capped.
Yeah.
So in case there was an emergency,
So it should
hopefully
be,
I'd never have to touch them again.
yeah, so the disturbance would, even under emergency situation,
Would be by foot to chlorinate them, if they had to be, you know, chlorinated, had to be used in the future. That
so there's no more walking, there's no more disturbance, no more machinery.
I don't need to go on back there again. I don't ever want to have to go on back there again. So,
That's fine. Any other questions?
I was gonna say, and you're taking the planks out?
yes, I will.
Moving them.
Absolutely. Yep.
Yeah, just put it in a condition to move the plants and the brush.
Well, we should close the meeting first.
Yeah.
Is that correct? So, does somebody want to make a motion to close the hearing on 2 Montello Street?
I'll make a motion to close the hearing on 2 Montello Street.
Second.
Second.
All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, recused? I would ask now if the agent has any conditions. Is that where we're at?
Correct, right. I would just give boilerplate conditions, you know, that if something further work requires a new permit and stuff like that. And then to remove the planks and the brush. That should do it.
Any other?
No, that'll be in the conditions, as Judy said. Okay.
So we just make a motion to approve those conditions as laid out by the agent. Is that correct?
Correct. If that's what you want to do.
Want to make that motion?
Make a motion to approve the order of conditions as outlined by the agent.
Second?
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstain? 4-0. Thank you.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, we can sign that. Is anyone here for the rear Center Street hearing?
Mr. Silva's here.
Okay. Continue the hearing on rear Center Street. Edward Silva, Jr.
Good evening to everyone.
I assume that there was a site walk done on,
Yes, you're correct, Mr. Chair. We did a site walk, actually, before Mr. Silva filed. So, just to get the lay of the land, and I believe it was me, Judy, Russ, and Jim, and I think, and Jennifer was there as well, right? And Maddie, although she's not officially a member.
And
And the, excuse me for taking your, I'll let you talk in a minute. Any of the structures that might be required for Cranberry Bog construction are essentially already in. He has an old flume, but it may need upgrading, but he's not adding, at least within the buffer zone, he's not adding new structures. And there's already got a water connection, a ditch. I'll let you take it from there.
Well, do you remember the concrete structure that I showed you?
That's
there
what
at
I
the
was
time?
thinking of, yep.
Okay, but that's gonna be taken out, but that's gonna have to move to the, where that concrete structure, everyone still have the, maps from?
Oh. Do you guys still have your maps from time before?
The color photos with this one here?
So where is that right now, that structure? I just,
It's, okay, if you look at, where it says F3, 1.7 acres, if you look to the left of, the number 1, is where the old concrete structure is right now.
okay.
That's gonna move to the other side of the new proposed bog. But where the old structure was, there's a, I don't know if you remember, there's a canal that's been there since the beginning of time that goes from the concrete flume, and that's how all the water exits out to the abandoned bog in the back. So all I'm doing is moving the concrete structure. I'm not using the old concrete structure. We're taking that out, and I'm putting in an aluminum structure, which is gonna be on the other side of the canal. So I'm really not, it's gonna be exiting the same way it always
Right.
exit, except the flume's not gonna be on that side, it's gonna be on the other side.
so if I get this right, are you gonna reverse where the head of the flume would go to the other side?
No, what I mean, all right, if you, let me put this down. This is where the concrete flume is right now.
Okay.
And all the water that comes through this bog goes through that flume, and then there's in this upland area where I'm proposing the new bog, right in here,
Okay.
there's a canal that splits that whole thing in half, which has been there since the beginning of time. That's how all the water exits on this side. What I'm doing, instead of making, since there's a new bog going here, instead of I'm not gonna have a canal in the middle of the new bog, I'm just taking that structure and I'm making the flume on this side of the property. It still exits out into the wetlands here.
So what are you doing with that canal that was there forever? What is that gonna happen to that?
That's where the new cranberry bog is going.
So would you fill that,
He's filling this whole section.
you're gonna fill that canal in?
Oh, it's a ditch this wide.
I would just ask the agent, I'm not quite sure not sure where we're at with that in regards to being able to fill that in, because it's different than it becomes a canal or a channel. Is that within to be able to allow that?
Well, that's why it says that the project may require a variance.
Okay, that's the variance that he would be sought to.
Would be filling or structures, yeah. Yeah, and that's kind of the question, because it's always been part of the agricultural operation.
Absolutely. If you were to leave that concrete flume exactly where it's at, which I can't, but if you were, and then you made the ditches, all cranberry bogs have a perimeter ditch.
Oh, I understand.
It would be, instead of going through the middle of the bog, it's going all the way around and then out.
Oh, I understand. I just asked through the agent in regards to just that one, what our jurisdiction is on that one stream. That not a stream, but the one ditch. That's all I was asking. The only question that I would have, as long as that water the discharge, I would assume that's what you're talking about, the discharge water from the bogs flows in that direction. You go from one to the other and then out the new bog, is that how it goes?
Right, that's the way it's always gone. Where it exits out into the wetlands has been that way since that bog was
Yeah,
built,
and
which
it's
is close to
still
100
gonna
years old.
exit out that new
That
bog
same-
that same way. You're just rerouting it within that bog and it's
With-
gonna go out
e-
that same way.
exactly.
So the impact on the wetland area isn't gonna increase or
changing it
anything.
at all.
And that would be where my only concern is, not so much what happens in there, as long as we know what the route is, so
Okay.
I don't have a problem, or seem to have a problem. Do you have any comments, Judy?
And to me, he's taking the structure that was there and replacing it with another structure, which is part
And
of,
that,
is
on
part
an
of the Cranberry.
agricultural use, though, he's got
Yeah.
the ability to do that.
Right.
He's just moving it down
Correct.
a different way, to a different area.
Right.
But the impact of that movement's not changing the direction or anything, so
Not
I
at all.
don't,
It's
so I
gonna
don't
exit.
even know.
As a matter, where that ditch goes across the new section I was just telling you, it's still gonna exit exactly where that exits into the wetland. We're putting, the water structure is gonna be right there, right in that canal. It's just, it's gonna be rooted. Instead of across this piece where I'm building a new bog, it's gonna go around the perimeter, and the perimeter ditches and out the same way it always goes. There's not gonna be any alterations to the wetlands, or, I can't go into that area anyways, because it's under conservation restriction for me anyway, so I'm not changing anything there.
Yeah, in the purpose of the bylaw is to protect the environmental impact, and there is none, so it's not gonna bridge any of the bylaw violations. So if we do need a variance, I think it falls within the category to be granted a variance. I'm not even quite sure if it needs one, but
Yeah.
that would be with you. I mean, I think it's under agricultural purposes. He's only moving it down and not putting in anything new, so that would be for,
So, not to belabor this, but so
That's
at the
okay.
bottom, it would be this whole piece, and at the bottom you'd have a perimeter ditch instead of a mid-ditch, is that what you're saying?
That's correct,
Okay, so you'll be replacing one-to-one,
exactly.
yeah. So there will be a replacement of that.
so
Ditch.
so does that require variance or no?
Well, I think you probably should, because the bylaw does mention filling. I mean, I know it seems trivial, but the good news is that he's replacing it, because he has to anyway, for the whole thing to work, for the water system to work. So,
So, I guess the first order of business we need to do, if there's no other concerns, is to close the meeting first. Is that correct, Sarah? And then we will vote.
unless there's anyone from the public here who wants to say anything, which I don't think there is. The hordes are.
To make a motion to close the hearing?
I make a motion to close the hearing on, I think that's 00 Rear Center Street.
Can't make a motion.
Yeah, you
Oh,
can.
no.
He's-
Make a motion, sorry,
he is too.
to close the meeting for 0 Rear Center Street, Edward Silver Jr.
Okay, I make a motion that we close the hearing for the Silver Junior project on Center Street.
And second,
Second.
all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, abstentions, 400.
I had a question I wanted to ask. This is the first time I've ever gone through this procedure. The DEP file number which I received, could you explain to me where it says this is a file number and it doesn't, it's not an approval of the application? What does that mean?
I can explain it. The DEP just doesn't want, when they usually issue file numbers way before, sometimes they're late for inexplicable reasons, and this was one of those times. It only means that if you had gotten that file number 2 weeks ago, before this hearing were closed, they're just trying to let applicants know that just because you received this number doesn't mean the whole process is finished yet. Right.
So the next motion that would be needed to be made would to approve the variance in regards to the new or the replacement culvert located near or adjacent or on the new section of bog.
Yeah, I would say that's currently on bog F number 3, No, it's currently on where the new bog is, and it will be replaced at the, what's that, the southern end? Is this north-south? Yeah, the southern end of the new bog. It'll be a one-to-one replication.
Okay, does anybody want to make a motion?
I'm just going, so moved.
So it's a variance to fill the old center ditch.
Approve the variance, yeah, because you're, I know what you mean.
To fill the old center ditch due to the soil conditions, topography,
So it's just replacing the ditches, one that's going
And-
into the
right, and to
ground instead
replace
of through
the
the center.
ditch in a one-to-one replication at the southern end of the new bog.
By doing so, there would be no adverse consequences to our bylaw.
Correct. Or derogation therefrom.
You get that too?
I'm sorry, I was just quoting the bylaw. You don't have to put that in there.
Irrigation is such a fancy word. I like it.
I've been trapped into doing the minutes.
Poor Jen, she wasn't counting on this
I
today.
thought you were free.
Southern.
So you second the motion?
So,
I'll
all
second the
those,
motion.
all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, abstentions, 400. The next step we need is conditions through our agent.
Okay, so I have some pretty standard conditions that I modified just a tiny bit from other applicants who've come to us to construct new bogs within 100 feet. And basically, it says, you know, best management practices shall be used in bog construction. Erosion control should be established. The whole idea is that you don't need to do that unless it looks like when you're in the process of, say, removing the dirt to make it into a bog, to put the organics and all. If it looks like you're gonna have some erosion into the wetlands on that end, you put something up to take care of that. So, Yep.
Actually, the first thing that's gonna be done is there's gonna be in the upland side, there's gonna be a bank put there first while we're constructing the bog.
Oh, good.
So it'll take, we're figuring on about a week and a half to get that dug, but in the interim, the first thing that's gonna be done, even though it's not gonna lend itself to draining into the wetlands, but I wanna be absolutely sure that it goes nowhere near there, so we're gonna put a berm there first as we're
That's
constructing.
terrific, okay. That's correct, that's terrific.
Good.
Yep. So then you call me to take a look at it. And essentially, well, I say that the excavated sand or earth to be used is gonna be reused on resurfacing existing bog F number 1, is that correct?
That's correct.
Okay. And obviously stockpiles placed as far away from wetlands as possible. Now this one, I didn't know, I copied it straight from a different set of conditions, but I have when the finished face within 100 feet of the wetlands reaches its final grade to restore the side slopes 3-to-1. And I'm assuming that works for you, is that typical or no?
Well, I would say most of the guys do a 2-to-1 slope, but if you go on my farm, I have a 3-to-1 slope because I'm getting a little bit long in the tooth walking down it.
Okay.
3-to-1 slope is no problem.
So
for
that
me to
works,
do.
all right, okay, good. And let's see, any excess earth excavated, obviously, unless you're gonna use it on your bogs, you wanna take it away.
It's not going anywhere, it's staying right there.
Yeah, because you'll be needing the
Absolutely.
sand and whatnot, okay. And then any other structure, or, you know, the usual, anything that requires a permit or a variance from us, you need to come back and get one, and then you can't do anything else there except as exempt under the agricultural exemptions, so it's pretty boilerplate for this kind of a
Okay.
project.
Okay. Vote to approve the order of conditions as outlined by the agent for the Silver project.
Second,
Second.
all those in favor say aye.
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 All those opposed, abstain, 401. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thanks, Ed, good night.
Good luck.
Go around, get this stuff signed. The next
40,
hearing,
was it 400?
400. The next hearing, or RDA, is LSC Investment Trust. Come on up.
We open that,
Huh?
did you say 401 or 400?
400.
I thought somebody,
No, there's only 4 of us.
no, I
You
thought
need to sign
somebody,
that.
somebody abstained.
Oh.
No, okay.
It's excellent.
Good job.
All right. Cole Mills Road. You
You all
can just
set?
introduce yourself. Yeah, we're all set.
Sure. My name is Michelle Simino. I'm from GZA Geoenvironmental. I'm a project manager and wetland scientist, and I'm here on behalf of Ms. Cole, Alice Cole, trustee for LSC Investment Trust. This is a continued request for determination of applicability hearing. I don't know if you want me to kind of rewind a little bit and refresh your memories on the project. It's been the summer. So we filed this RDA back in April of this year. We had a hearing, and I believe it was May, Sarah? And the proposal is to remove an area of soil. It's an area of soil that's impacted by petroleum and cadmium and lead. It's an implementation of a remedial action plan under the Massachusetts Contingency Plan, which is, if you're familiar with that, the state law that dictates what one is to do, what the process is for dealing with oil and hazardous waste materials. And so this RDA proposes to implement a remedial action plan, implementation plan under the MCP. And basically what we're focused on is an area of stained soil. It's visibly stained soil. It's on the eastern side of the property, Fulls Mill property. And it's going to be a shallow excavation, approximately 50 by 100, about to about a foot deep. And back when we opened the hearing in May, the agent and the commission wanted to do a site walk. And so we, subsequent to the hearing was continued, we did a site walk. During that site walk, some miscellaneous items were discovered to be at the site. Appliances, sundry things, a couple of barrels, miscellaneous things that were in the buffer zone. And the request was made by Sarah and the commission to ask Ms. Cole to please remove those items. And so during the summer, she worked towards that. Those items have since been removed. Sarah and I did a walk just yesterday. I brought along some pictures, some before and after pictures that just show you some of the areas where there was, there were miscellaneous items, and then that same area cleaned up. So I have 3 sets of those before and afters.
Very nice.
And so that was really the only outstanding item with the project. It is an area that is mapped by the Natural Heritage Program for 2 species of special concern, the box turtle and the wood turtle. We received a no-take determination from the Natural Heritage Program. And so we're pretty much all set to go. Oh, so just to explain, each page represents the top picture is a before, and the second picture is an after of that same location.
And I think Michelle's pictures are way better than mine. I think Jim had some before pictures, and he couldn't make it tonight, so I'm glad you brought
Oh,
those.
okay, yeah, great. I got most of the significant areas before and after, yeah. Including where the 2 oil tanks were, the larger oil tanks, they were empty, but they were there.
Right. And in the set that I passed around, you'll see the last picture shows a single drum. It's right up almost near the entrance. And that's scheduled to, the guys, I guess, are coming in and double wrapping it the way they're supposed to, and it's scheduled to go out. So that, other than that, there's nothing there.
Yeah. So we would like to do the work this fall, and basically we'll be ready to go shortly after our 10-day appeal period elapses. Contractor has to be retained, and we'll do the work in 1 to 2 days. The excavation will be complete. The soil will be stockpiled, a line stockpile on the site. It will be characterized, analyzed, and then that will help determine what the appropriate disposal methodology is. And it's a really very short-term project, start to finish.
So once those piles are in there, they're determined they should be removed fairly quickly.
Yes, yes.
There'd be no washout or any chance of,
Right, no, there would not be. It would be lined with a poly plastic, and then on top and on bottom, and characterized. And no, we would absolutely, we have a very important responsibility to make sure that there's no washout, because that is contaminated soil, so it has to be treated appropriately.
And Michelle's firm has, I'm assuming you have a licensed site professional, or you've hired one.
Yes, Dr. Larry Feldman is actually the a licensed site professional on this project.
Okay.
We have a second LSP that also works on the project. Her name is Sarah Hanna, and they both work on this project, so, yeah.
So that's required under the Massachusetts contingency plan, that you have a licensed site professional. It can't just be anyone. It's a tough license.
Yes.
So,
does any of the commissioners have any questions, concerns, comments?
I was out there with you on the first look-see, but I unfortunately couldn't make, was it yesterday?
Yesterday.
You went. But after all this is removed, what happens to what's left?
What's left in terms of what?
Well, you're gonna take all the contaminants and
Yeah, oh, you mean after we excavate the soil that's pertinent to this RDA? Yeah, it will be removed from the site.
And then is it gonna be, I guess what
Oh,
he's
sorry.
asking, after the contaminated soil's left, you're gonna take it down about 2 feet, 50 by 100, I think is what you just said.
That's right.
He's asking, the question that the commissioner is asking is that is that gonna be refilled with new soil, or is that going to be, how's that?
Yep, that will be a clean backfill to the same depth. It will come back to the same grade. Because this is mapped for 2 species of special concern turtles, it's important to put back a similar substrate, which will be kind of a soft, sandier soil, and that will be backfilled to grade.
okay. That was what I was after.
Yeah, I apologize, I
He's
misunderstood.
much more eloquent than I.
It comes with this chair, you just.
Read everybody's mind, right?
You just feel important now.
Sorry, I just misunderstood your question.
and then the material has to be but there's all kinds of rules about how that stuff has to get disposed of, so that's one reason they have a licensed site professional.
So, there's no one in the audience, so we don't have to worry about there.
No public.
It's good that you said that, though.
So-
Close the hearing?
Aw, well, Fran.
Do we need a motion to close the hearing?
All right, I'll make a motion to close the hearing for
Second.
Investment Trust, Coleman Road.
Second?
Are you waiting?
I know.
I'll second it.
Okay,
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, abstentions, 4-0-0. Now on a RDA, it's just a closed here and there's
No, then you have to issue a determination of applicability.
Okay, and
So the question that the questions the applicant asked was whether the work depicted is subject to the Wetlands Protection Act. That was one question. The second question is whether the area and/or work depicted is subject to the jurisdiction of any municipal wetlands bylaw. So, in my opinion, the answer to the first one would be a -3 determination, because it is in the buffer zone, but it will not alter an area subject to protection under the act. And then the work does not require filing of a notice subject to the following conditions. And then you can specify the thing about the soil if you want, that it has to be replaced, clean fill, original grade, similar substrate, something very simple like that. The answer to the second question would be a +5, that it is subject to your review, which you've now done.
yeah, I don't think I don't think the conditions really need to be generic. I mean, it's easy as that. I mean, the terminology could be returned to.
Yeah.
the mentor.
And that's what they proposed anyway, so, yes, sorry,
Do I have permission to ask a question? I don't know if it's appropriate.
ask him.
Sure.
Okay. Just wondering about so a positive determination under the bylaw, does that mean further action is required, or?
No, because they've already reviewed it under the
Okay.
bylaw,
Okay,
so, I mean, that's my take. If they said no, then, you know, there wouldn't have been any point to, at any rate, no, it doesn't.
okay,
Yeah,
okay. Thank you.
Sure.
For the clarification.
So we just need a motion to,
To issue a
to
negative 3.
approve the determination, -3 and a
Okay.
+5 determination.
Yeah, to approve the negative 3 determination and positive 5, as stated by the agent.
If that's your wish.
did you get that, Jeff?
No, I'm gonna get a CD.
Okay, everybody want to second that?
Second.
All those in favor, say aye.
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 406.
0.
Thank you very much.
We're good. Thank you.
Thank you, Michelle.
Good night.
Aye.
Just have to have them sign their discrimination thing.
Now, my stuff is, there was only 2 sets of minutes to approve, is that correct?
The only thing we
So
have
we
to
did that.
do is our harassment policy, which was emailed to everyone.
Okay,
Did everyone read their,
Yes.
Yes.
we just need your signature that you,
Right.
thank you.
Okay.
So we can, this year they're doing it all on one sheet, so we don't have to keep track of separate sheets. Which makes life easier.
well, that's
Cut down
going
on that.
around.
Costly paper.
We have one other, do we have to do, are we doing anything on the maps available for the hiking trails at Cole property? Sarah, you want to share with that?
Yeah, I just thought I would mention that they are now available, not only in the office downstairs, but online, on the, if you go to carverma.org, and then on the left-hand side, click on Town Hall, and under the first part of the alphabet, you'll come to the Conservation Commission. And there's a, when that webpage comes up, there's a bar that you can click that says Documents and Maps. And so they will be under there. And these are maps of 3 of conservation lands in Carver, the Cole property, Camden Trail on the Indian Brook Conservation Land, which is off Indian Street, and Savory Avenue Conservation Land. So just thought I'd throw that out there. One last thing, if I may, Mr. Chair. The, under other business, while you guys are signing off on the discriminatory harassment policy, we were also got in that same package something that's called the care and use of town property policy. That actually, I have to actually find out if you guys even need to sign that. I think that's for employees, you know, real employees, not real, you guys are special town employees, but employees such as myself and Peg, who are here during the day to sign. So we are going to do that, but I will find out if, since you're special town employees, whether you also need to do it. So you don't have to sign that one right now. We can get you in if you do need to, but I suspect it just covers the 2 of us.
Okay, so right now, that's all we're really concerned with, is that you guys sign.
Correct.
And we can put it back on to the agenda if need be.
Necessary.
Correct, yeah.
And
And it just didn't occur to me till tonight that I don't even think you guys need to, but
No, we don't get paid.
I was gonna
Right.
say, I didn't realize I was a town employee.
You don't get
well,
paid.
the conservation commissioners are special town employees.
So special, I get no benefits.
That's correct.
Welcome to the
Sorry.
club.
Yeah.
And you might want to mention,
Oh, yeah. I keep saying one more thing, don't I? Sorry.
Last thing.
Last thing is, unless you feel the need to have an October 3rd meeting, we have passed the deadline to have legal notices for that particular meeting. Unless someone comes in with some emergency, there's no way we could actually have a meeting a public hearing on that night. We could have a meeting if there's business that you guys want to discuss, and it's fine. I just didn't know whether you wanted to cancel that one or leave it to our discretion whether to post if there's, it would have to really be some sort of emergency. I actually got a call from a couple of people wanting to submit notices of intent. They're not in any particular hurry. I know Dan sometimes wanted to make a special meeting if someone was really in a hurry. So they're going to wait till the October 17th, I think it is, meeting.
So we need a motion to continue or to cancel the October 3rd meeting?
If you want to, and again, there's always business we can discuss, so
I'd ask the agents on their feelings. Do you want to cancel the October 3rd, or do you want to have that meeting?
Cancel unless something important comes up.
I was gonna say, could we make a,
With everybody.
That's the way so can we make a motion to cancel the October 3rd, 2012 meeting as scheduled unless an emergency was to arise and a meeting would be needed?
Okay. We're
cancel and postpone?
Gonna make a motion.
No.
Well, it's never been posted,
It hasn't
so we
been
don't have
posted
to
yet,
cancel
but it's our
anymore.
next regularly scheduled
We
meeting.
need to cancel it if it's not been.
Then we probably would say that a meeting will not be held.
Meeting will not, okay, we're gonna cancel the
Motion not to hold
Not to hold a
our
meeting.
next regularly scheduled
next
meeting on
regularly
October
scheduled
3rd.
meeting, unless an emergency should arise
Right.
that needs attention, we'll
Exactly.
meet.
Because someone could come in, file paperwork by next Monday, and we could hear them on a date when we don't usually hear them, but I don't foresee that. I guess that's why they call them emergencies.
Yeah, it wouldn't be October 3rd if it was. The 10th would be the earliest they could do it.
Yeah.
So was that motion made? Did we get a motion?
Basically, basically.
Yeah,
Make a motion to cancel the October 3rd meeting unless some emergency happens to arise.
And we'll meet on the
Then we'll meet
17th.
on, yeah, otherwise we'll meet on the 17th.
Second?
All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed, recused, 4-0-0. I think that's all. Is that all?
Yeah, that's it. I promise.
Gonna make a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
Make a motion to adjourn?
Second?
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed, recused, 4-0-0.